Dear students of class 10, welcome to my civics class. Chapter number 2, the President and the Vice President. The President of India. The President is the head of the Union and occupies the highest office. All executive powers are vested in the name of the President, and he or she discharges his or her duty with the help of whom? With the help of Prime Minister, with the help of Council of Ministers, and this Prime Minister and Council of Ministers directly represent the people, since they are elected directly by the people of India. Since the founding members of the Constitution decided to give India a parliamentary democracy, the President's role through widening range in its scope is limited in reality by the fact that he or she has to abide by the decisions of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, because as members of Parliament they represent the voice of the majority of the people of India. The President's position is one of the immense respect and prestige, but he or she is only the formal head of the state. The President embodies the spirit of nation. The choice of the President reflects the contemporary thought of the nation. He or she is the country's first citizen and is given priority on the protocol list. The President is the nominal head of the country. The President is not elected directly like the Prime Minister or the Council of Ministers. That's why the President has to abide by certain protocol. For example, in consultation, before taking any decision, the President is supposed to consult the Prime Minister as well as Council of Ministers. Before breaking the Lok Sabha, before declaring emergency in the country, before declaring financial emergency in the country, the President is required to consult the Prime Minister. The President represents the nation directly. Although the President cannot, hold power like Prime Minister or Council of Ministers, yet the President holds certain powers. He is the constitutional head. At the same time, he is the military commander of the armed forces of India. He represents the nations. He goes for official tours. He goes different countries of the world for an official tour and represent the nation, represent the country, delivered his speeches and establish an image of the country India, since our country where a democratic form of government is established. It gives priority to the sovereign democratic republic as per the Constitution, the facility which was given to our country. As a constitutional head, the President is bound to convey the message to the people of the world that as a democratic country, India and its stand. Before making dialogue or before framing any kind of, before taking any kind of decision, the President takes some suggestions from the Prime Minister as well as the Council of Ministers. Before going for an official tour to abroad, the President is required to consult the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Now, what are the qualifications required to be the President of India? There are certain qualifications required to be the President of India. Number one, he must be a citizen of India. Number two, he must be at least 35 years of age. He must be qualified to be elected as a Lok Sabha member. He must be enrolled on the electoral list, and he must be he must be of sound mental health, and he not be a proven criminal. He must not hold an office of profit under the government. So these were the most important qualifications required to be the President of India. The President is required to have 35 years of age, minimum 35 years of age. He must not hold any office of profit under the government of India. He must be a citizen of India. He must become the member of the Lok Sabha. And of course, he must have sound mental health, and he must not be an economic defender or proven criminal. So these are the important qualifications required to be the President of India. To stop all the sundry from the standing for election for the office of the President, which reduces the dignity of the office, each nominated candidate requires to have his or her name proposed and seconded by at least 50 members of the Electoral College. Deposit 15,000 as security with the Election Commission, which the candidate will lose if he or she fails to get 1/6 of the total votes cast. Since the system of election is indirect and the election is conducted through the Electoral College, it is required to deposit 15,000 as security money to the Election Commission. And if the candidate loses the election, she fails to get 1/6 of the total votes cast. That's why this system is allowed, which the candidate will lose if she fails to get 1/6 of the total votes cast. That's why a sum of rupees 15,000 is deposited by the candidate as security money for the Election Commission. Now, procedure of election. The presidential election is conducted by the Election Commission. It is an indirect election. In other words, the people of India do not take part in that election. Instead, this is done through a system of proportional representation by means of a single transferable vote and secret ballot. The President is elected by the Electoral College consisting of members of both houses of Parliament and state legislatures. The presidential election is held through a system of proportional representation through the Electoral College, where people cannot take part, but only the members of the two houses of Parliament, the members of the Rajya Sabha, the members of the Lok Sabha. That means both the two houses of Parliament and state legislatures. Representation of the state legislature means MLAs, MPs of both two houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and MLA of the Legislative Assembly. They generally take part in making a person to be the President of India through a single transferable vote and secret ballot. So this is the system of conducting election for the President of India. Now, Electoral College. What is Electoral College? The Electoral College comprises of elected members of both the houses of the Union Parliament and elected members of all legislative assemblies of all states including Delhi and Pondicherry. So electoral college comprises of members of the two houses of parliament, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, and the members of the legislative assembly means MLAs, MPs of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and MLAs of the legislative assembly including Delhi and Pondicherry. They cast their vote through electoral college and make a person as the President of India. This electoral college maintains a system of secret ballot by means of a single transferable vote. Only members of both houses of parliament and legislative assembly, they can vote and make one person, elect as one person as the President of India. This is done through a system of proportional representation. So this is about electoral college. And now what do you mean by proportional representation? What do you mean by proportional representation? Now I am going to discuss. Each member of parliament and each state assembly, each member has one vote. The value of one vote of a member of parliament is high because parity is sought to be maintained between the votes cast by MPs and the votes cast by MLAs. The strength of all the MLAs of all the states is so high that the vote for the president will lead in favor of states leaving the parliament with no say in the election of the president. Therefore, the vote must be proportionally balanced in favor of the parliament. In other words, there has to be a parity between the votes cast by the parliament and all the state legislative assemblies together. Since each member of both houses of parliament means member of the Rajya Sabha as well as member of the Lok Sabha has one vote, and member of the legislative also is supposed to cast only one vote. So the strength of the MLAs of all the states is so high that the vote for the president will sometimes favor the states leaving the parliament with no say. But in the election of the president, vote must be proportionately balanced in favor of the parliament. Sometimes the members of since there is a system of voting by the members of legislative assembly, since there is a system of providing the voting rights to the members of both the houses of parliament, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, sometimes the number of MLAs, become many in numbers. Sometimes the number of MLAs and the votes from the MLAs would become very much uncontrollable. That means they cast many numbers of vote. Many numbers of vote comes from the MLAs than the MPs of both houses of parliament, because there are a very small number of MLAs, there are a very small number of MPs, both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. But MLA also cast their votes. The MLAs also cast their votes. That's why there should be a proportional representation of the election commission. And this system is maintained by the election commission through the electoral college. That means there should be equal number of votes from both the two sides, from the members of the Legislative Assembly as well as members of the two houses of Parliament. Sometimes the number of votes from the MLAs became 200, but the number of votes from the two houses of Parliament, became 100 or 120. To avoid this kind of inconveniences, the Election Commission, through the system of electoral college, maintain a proportional representation. Suppose the members of Lok Sabha, they vote 200, in that case the members of the Legislative Assembly also are supposed to vote for the presidential election 200. This is known as equal representation of the vote for the president, and this is proportionally balanced in favor of the parliament. In other words, there has to be a parity between the votes can be parliament, cast by parliament and all the state legislative assemblies together. Amongst the state legislative assemblies, the value of the vote differs from state to state. For example, the value of the vote of an MLA from Uttar Pradesh is far higher than the value of the vote of an MLA from Mizoram. This is because Uttar Pradesh is densely populated state, where Mizoram is sparsely populated state. That's why, my dear students, the vote for the MLAs from Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly is more important than the votes from the MLAs of Mizoram, because Uttar Pradesh is densely populated and Mizoram is sparsely populated state. And next day, the remaining part will be discussed, because this point is, there are so many points of this proportional representation, and I would like to discuss by giving other examples. Next day, the same point will be discussed, meaning of proportional representation. Up to this.